music director of the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, Krzysztof Urbanski, to conduct the Pittsburgh Symphony in the overture to Beethoven's Egmont. The overture to Beethoven's Egmont. The Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Krzysztof Urbanski. The first Pittsburgh Symphony conductor, Frederick Archer, led the Egmont.
Hello, Mr. Gary. Do you have your hand up on purpose?
There's some issue with that. Your computer is on, your microphone is on also. It's feedback.
I'll have Lee turn it down one more too.
I didn't hear anything you said, Mr. Gary. You're on mute.
It's been done.
You,
He
okay.
can't
It needs
unmute.
to be turned down just a little bit, Lee, because it's howling out there. Yeah, not real bad, but you can hear it like.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can. How can I help you?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to register to speak. I just found out about the meeting tonight. I had an issue about the girls field hockey. I was wondering if I could speak.
Yes, sir. You'll be able to speak during public comments.
Okay,
Okay, so when that section comes and you do that again, raise your hand and Ms. Glasser will call on you to speak.
no problem. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
You have a seersucker one though. Finally vacation. I just Philly usually goes up to Geneva on the lake in Ohio, so my wife likes it. It's like so therefore I. Yeah. It's been an acquired taste for me, yes, but it's fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, at least for today, but I just it'll be fine. Till weekend with wife returning. If I come back from that, it'll be a good time.
Do I have to use this mouse? I don't know.
I know mine, and it's right here, but I use the house. Oh, no. It works. Okay, just kidding. You just have to be lingering in my peripheral.
Okay. Do we have Mr. Graves and Miss Lawson on the Zoom? You know? We don't have a narrative team, so. All right, I'm gonna need to go check with Steve.
Temperature. Freezer. 70, the thermostat. Oh, turned it. You did it. Okay. Is she turned?
Apologies, everybody. We're trying to work out some logistics. with board members who are remote tonight.
Already connected.
He's on?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm texting. Austin now.
I'm here, Jamie.
All right. Okay, you ready? Okay. Good evening, everyone. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed. Apologies for our tardiness and logistics issues that delayed us. I call to order this legislative meeting for the month of July 2021. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll?
Mr. Gray,
I believe he's present on Zoom.
Kelly, present. Ms. Boston,
I'm present.
Thank you, Mr. Graves.
Ms. Boston. Ms. Curry. Here. Mr. Belmont. Ms. Scott. Here. Mr. Patterson.
Present.
Dr. Hildebrand.
Here.
Ms. Lawson. Ms. Glasser.
Present. I'll note for the record that Mr. Belmont had a personal matter arise this afternoon and is unable to be with us. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence as we express our condolences to the family of Richard Yeager, a former employee of the Woodland Hills School District who passed away on Monday, June 28th, 2021. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I'm in need of a motion to accept the meeting minutes for the June agenda setting meeting. Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott. Is there a second? Second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions, discussions, or comments on the minutes from members? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Hawthorne, we take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. I'm in need of a motion to accept the legislative meeting minutes for the month of June 2021. Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions, discussions, or additions to the minutes for the legislative meeting? Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. The board met in executive session on Monday, July 19th, to discuss personnel matters, and immediately preceding this meeting to discuss legal, school safety, and personnel matters as permitted by law. Mr. Harris, do you have announcements?
Yes, a couple. Okay, coming up in the beginning of August, we will be starting our district strategic planning effort. It will be done in 6 phases. Phase 1 will be to establish a working planning committee. Phase 2 will be to collect information. Phase 3, analysis and assessment. Phase 4, develop strategies. Phase 5, communication and implementation. And Phase 6, review and modification. We will begin the first set for planning on August 9th. We will be reaching out to various folks in the community, staff, board members, all of our stakeholders to form a group of about 15 to 20 people to help develop this strategic plan. So emails will be going out asking for volunteers to help participate. We plan to do it over the course of 6-7 weeks and then present the final plan either at the end of October or beginning of November. Okay, so hopefully those that get the email will want to volunteer with us to help how we can develop this plan. We're looking at developing a 3-year plan. We looked at 3 to 5 years, but we feel that systems change so quickly, we didn't want something to be out of date. So we're looking at developing a 3-year plan. Okay. Let's see, back to school giveaway, Saturday, August 7th. We'll be here at the admin building from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's presented by You Are Not Forgotten Community Outreach Center, part of the Unity Baptist Church, the Woodland Hills Foundation Hugs volunteer program. So they'll be giving out free uniforms, school supplies. There'll be face painting, giant Jenga, which I love, cornhole, Connect 4, lollipop bowl, air hockey, duck pond, lots of other fun things to do that day. So from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, August 7th, here in this building in the gymnasium, it's a back to school free uniform and school supply giveaway. And Woodland Hills School District Community Day will be held at Dixon Preparatory STEAM Academy, August 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a Saturday. That'll also be the second ribbon cutting of the Dixon Prep School. So if you haven't gone over there yet, it's a beautiful facility. We're doing a ribbon cutting and tours through the building. So please come on out and join us for that day.
Other announcements from members? Okay. Hearing none, it being summertime, we won't have student speakers tonight, but we do have a presentation with some very exciting and good news. And I know we do have some students who joined as a part of that, so welcome to those who joined both on the Zoom. I know we have some elementary kids who are on the Zoom, and we also have some students with us in the room tonight. So thank you for being here, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Ms. Glasser. Good evening, everyone.
we have some major news to celebrate. We have a major accomplishment from the district, and we wanted to take this time to celebrate the hard work of our staff and our scholars, and to announce publicly that Woodland Hills School District was named the winner of the National 2021 Best of Green Schools Award in the school district category. It's a major award. We were finalists with LA Unified and Compton Unified, and those three were out of hundreds of applicants. So we are honored to have this award. We are honored to have won this award. It is all thanks to the major efforts of these young people and the staff that we have. And I'd like to just walk you through a little bit of what the climate action team is doing so that we can give you a little bit of that update, give Levi a chance to speak with you a little bit, and then specifically name the individuals that have been driving this work forward. So as I said, we are the winners of the Green Schools Award, National Green Schools Award. We were lucky and honored to be able to accept that award. As a school district, we would not be there, though, if it weren't for the help and the partnership that we have with Communitopia as well. I would be remiss if I did not mention them as the organization that has helped to drive this work forward. So those of you that were here will remember 2.5 years ago, Levi Sapp McGraw stood in front of you and talked about the importance of climate action in our district. In July of 2019, before I came, you decided that it was important enough to pass a resolution for climate action within our schools. In January, we formed a climate action team, and then now we're in the implementation and action phase. As I mentioned, December of 2018, Mr. Levi McGraw stood up here and talked to you about the importance of climate action. Hearing from him is far more important than hearing from me. But I'm going to step back for a second while he comes up and chats with you.
Hello. All right. So I'm not personally within the action team. I want to say thank you for actually passing that resolution back a couple of years ago, because if it wasn't for you passing that resolution and instilling faith within us and actually being there with along every step in that pathway, then I might not be here talking to you today if it wasn't for that resolution being passed. So I want to say thank you, and also want to say thank you for Communitopia for being that one of the backbones in starting this climate action team. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I was a few years ago, I was nervous. I was nervous to come up here, speak, project my voice. What I'm doing here right now and what I've done within those past couple of months, past couple of years, speaking at the Seeds of Change conference and speaking on Zoom or even in person in 2019 at the P4 Climate Action Summit at the David O. Lawrence Convention Center, I wouldn't be doing all this if it wasn't for everyone coming together and actually instilling faith. And for that, I just say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Levi. I'd like to name that Levi gave up a full day of his summer so that he could be a part of the planning retreat that we held 2 weeks ago. Sharice Knight, who's sitting next to him, not only gave up a day of her summer to be a part of that planning retreat, but then also wrote a $1,500 grant from the intermediate unit so that we can have more recycling bins in our high school and middle school. So our scholars are driving this work, and we want to celebrate them as much as possible. I promise that I will be brief in the rest of my slides, but I want to get to the last slide so that I can name the other people that are doing great work here. So you passed a resolution, and that resolution said that we were going to do a lot of great things. Mainly, it said that we're going to put climate action into our curriculum. We're going to incorporate climate action and advocacy into our facilities and operations, and that we were going to ensure that we created advocates and action-oriented scholars as we move forward, especially in terms of climate action. We were the first school district in the state of Pennsylvania to pass a climate action resolution. We were only the 55th in the nation to pass a climate action resolution. So as we did that in January, we formed a team. Communitopia helped form a team. I would also be remiss if I didn't name Mr. Mike Belmont as the member of the board who has driven this work forward and who brought the district and Communitopia together. I know that he is humble and would like to show the attention to all the scholars, but he has really also pulled this work together. We pulled that committee together, and that committee is now 3 subcommittees of student advocacy, where Levi and Sharice come in, buildings, grounds, transportation, and food, where Mr. Finney and Ms. Niccolo are a huge part of making sure that climate action is a part of what we do in every bit of our operations and our facilities. And then curriculum, which is a team that I get to head up, so that Ms. Tansky and her team can build out lessons and units that our educators can use. The student advocacy group hosted a virtual youth climate action summit last year. It will become an annual summit. Look for information coming this spring about our 2022 youth advocacy summit. That summit was keynoted by Summer Lee. We had more than 250 participants. We had representatives from close to 10 different districts in the region, and it was widely successful. We also have, as part of our student climate advocacy team, a group of high school students that are meeting on a monthly basis to talk about what they can do to be advocates within their communities and their buildings. We had a tree planting in April of 2021. I'd like to name that Allison Klein was the first school at Wilkins, was the first school to host a tree planting. We partnered with Tree Pittsburgh for 1 tree per student in the district. And we were able to plant trees at Wilkins. They're also planting a pollinator garden tomorrow. I know that Asher Holleran, one of our 5th graders going into 6th grade, is leading the design work as a part of Kathy Pearson's team doing that. We've got a district-wide waste recycling plan, thanks to Mr. Finney. We're sharing our Energy Start portfolio data so that we can measure our energy and water usage. And then we're putting out a student food survey, as well as then Ms. Niccolo was the key driver in getting us Captain Planet grants through the Dole Foundation so that we can have raised beds and gardens at every one of our schools, which is pretty fantastic. I mentioned already that we did a tree planting in terms of the buildings, grounds, transportation, and food. We also have done a ton of work in terms of curriculum, and I'd love to take any credit for that, but really all of that was done by that lady right over there. Ms. Susan Tansky is a high school educator. She is one of our fantastic Spanish teachers, and she took the idea of curriculum writing for climate action and ran with it. With that, she created a full-on website that has not only lesson plans, but unit plans that can be used cross content, kindergarten through 12th grade. And every one of our educators has incorporated at least one of those lessons into their routines throughout the year. It is our hope that we then have our own educators building out their own unit plans. And then we have 6 different educators who have already dedicated their time into building unit plans this summer and this past year. They showcased those of this spring. So our spicy group, that's what we call those educators that have developed their own unit plans. Those are led by Ms. Tansky, Ms. Pearson, Ms. Everhart. I feel confident that I'm missing somebody there to do a lot of work around incorporating climate action and advocacy in the classroom. So you see that in our elementary schools, Ms. Pearson led a group of scholars on creating purposeful gardens and creating pollinator gardens. You'll see that my son is up there in the top right corner. He came home talking about how we can be better advocates for climate change and for making sure that we were taking action against climate change and the harmful effects within our country. And then the secondary group, led by Ms. Tansky, actually then mentored students at the elementary school so that they could come down and in Spanish tell them about climate change and the effects that their advocacy can have, the positive effects that their advocacy can have on climate change within our world. So moving forward with our climate action plan, as I mentioned, we had a full day retreat where we started talking about our 3- and 5-year plans for climate action advocacy. We have a success plan so that we can ensure sustained investment in this work. So Communitopia is working with several local foundations to ensure that this funding stays on everyone's radar and it stays funded regardless of our budgetary situation in the district. We have a school lunch survey coming out. We have a waste audit coming out. We have a transportation survey coming out. The tree planting is going to happen at all 5 of our buildings. We're going to eventually plant 1 tree for every scholar in the district, which is pretty fantastic when you think about the amount of carbon then that gets taken out of the atmosphere for 3,000 trees in the Woodland Hills community. And then we have our Youth Climate Action Summit coming in the spring of 2022. This is the most important slide. These are the people that make this work go. The first several are members of Communitopia, members of Chatham, members of Duquesne, members of Pitt that help us to really develop our planning. But then anybody that has either 2 or 1 asterisk by their name is a Woodland Hills staff member or scholar who has volunteered their time and efforts because they see the importance of this work. So I mentioned Susan Tansky already and Kathy Pearson. Miss Everhart led that group of 8th graders and has continued to drive this work. Mary Jane Probola, Jill Karatsuri, I'm so sorry, Jill, I messed up that name and I apologize, have really been our staff leaders, and they've done a ton. And then in terms of our scholars, you see that Levi is here to speak about this because it's that important. Sharice is here and won $1,500 grant so that we can continue this work. Katie Green, Grace Moon, Maddie Lockman, Tierra Bush, Delana Evans, and Naya Russell all helped to run that Youth Climate Action Summit that was done for students, by students. All of that, the Climate Action Summit, getting Summer Lee there, all of the operations and logistics were done by students, which is pretty fantastic. And then I would be remiss if I didn't name the scholars from Turtle Creek. These are only the ones that I know that are joining for the meeting tonight via Zoom. There are several others that Ms. Pearson has worked with. Riley Wagner, my own children, Colette and Beckett Chioco, Charlotte Kovach, and then many, many, many others. And we are very grateful to the Green Schools Conference for the award that we received. We are looking forward to the continued hard work in the district and the things that our scholars are doing because it is pretty amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson, and congratulations to, most importantly, you all sitting over here, and to everyone who's been participating. I think I speak for the board when I say that this, having been driven by students and Levi's impactful speech a couple of years ago, really did make a difference in our consideration of the resolution, and the timeliness in which we wanted to do that has been the driver. The fact that this is a student-driven effort really does make a difference for us, and I think creates a focus among the administrators who are working on this as well, because we want to make our schools as responsible as we possibly can in this regard and all others. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you for taking the time and for the commitment you've shown to this. We're looking forward to the big things that are still to come. And I should also say that I had the pleasure of hearing the presentations that Ms. Tansky, Ms. Pearson, and Ms. Karastori gave. And I apologize for butchering that name as well. But gave a month and a half or so ago. And they were really, really impressive curricula that were shown. And I would encourage anybody who has a chance to take a look and talk with those educators about what they're doing with their students, because it is impressive stuff. So thank you all for all that you've done, and congratulations. This is really a significant achievement, and we should all be very proud of everything that you all are doing. So thank you very much. Okay, so that moves us to registered speakers. We'll let Mr. Muter sort out what's happening with the screens, and then we can call up Ms. Watson. Thank you all. Okay, that moves us to Ms. Watson. Please give your name, place of residence, address, affiliation with the district. You have 2 minutes, and we'll address any questions following the meeting.
Thanks. My name is Natalie Watson. I'm in Brown Hills. My address is 1272 Britton Road, Pittsburgh, PA 15221. I'm a 97 grad, and I also have 3 children in the school district right now. I am here today to address the uniform policy that the district has. After communicating with Superintendent Harris and also talking with, I believe, the Director of Special Education, it came to my attention that we haven't actually done any studies since the inception of the program, and that ableism or any of our IEP students that might have sensory processing disorders and other issues that make it challenging with fabric and other things whenever you're trying to learn hasn't been really looked into at all at the district. So I just want to say, from a personal experience with a child that has autism, that also has a sensory processing disorder, that it would be very challenging right now for me to try and find them a uniform following the district's policy in fabrics that he would be able to sit and actually learn in. I would encourage the board to continue with the voluntary uniform policy that we sort of had because of COVID and the pandemic, while addressing some of the issues of ableism that are attached to this. A lot of public school districts are doing away with uniforms now, that more information is known. I think that you'll find in your personal research that that's across the board in the United States. And I also would love to see you guys using some of the amazing skills that you developed during the pandemic to send out a survey to families. What I was hearing from Superintendent Harris was that it's a very popular program, but it doesn't seem like there's actually any data to support that. So I would love to see what people in the district really feel about it. How is it impacting their finances? How is it impacting diversity in our school district? And what other kinds of problems are maybe cropping up from it? It's great that we're having these giveaways. I think that's fantastic. I have a prop today. This is my middle child, Gabe. Gabe, would you stand up, please? Gabe is going into the 4th grade. He is 5 foot tall and he's 121 pounds. He's in adult clothing. The giveaway is not going to help him. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. There are no further registered speakers. Is that correct, Ms. Hawthorne? That's correct. Thank you. That moves us to the agenda, Mr. Harris.
3.1 legal matters. We seek approval of the settlement with a recalled employee, including withdrawal of grievances.
Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this would likely necessitate executive session, but are there any such questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 3.2.
3.2, we seek approval of the settlement with a furloughed employee, including withdrawal of grievances.
Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Again, questions on this would be executive session in all likelihood. Any such questions? Okay. Hearing none, take the vote. Motion carries by a vote of 7-1. It was just 3.3.
3.3, we seek approval of the settlement with an employee, including withdrawal of a grievance.
Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this? Again, executive session. Any such questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 3.4.
3.4, we seek approval of the attached settlement and release to resolve several disputed claims.
Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this? Again, will be executive session. Any such questions? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0 with 1 abstention. That moves us to section 4, curriculum 4.1.
Good evening, everyone. In curriculum, we only have 3 tabs tonight. Tab 4.1, we seek approval to purchase a 3-year site license to use IXL software as a supplemental intervention tool for life skills students at the high school at a total cost of $4,065 from ESSER 2 funds. This is a software that the special education educators at the high school specifically asked for by name. We researched it, we got a quote, and they are excited to begin using it in the fall.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions for Mr. Wilson on this tab? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Moves us to 4.2.
4.2, we seek approval to pay one teacher per school per year, a $1,500 stipend as the climate action team liaison to assist with the implementation of climate action planning and instruction. These stipends will be paid using Title IV funds. So these are the liaisons like Ms. Tansky, Ms. Pearson, who have volunteered their time in the past. We'd like to recognize them. Eventually this role will be an extra duty remuneration, but due to the fact that we're in negotiations right now and we can't create EDRs, this is a stipend that would come out of the curriculum fund for.
Any questions? Any additional questions on that motion?
Yes, sir.
Does every school have a teacher?
So currently only 3 of our schools do. That's the other reason to have the stipend. We're hoping to encourage every school to have somebody.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 4.3.
4.3, we seek approval of the Woodland Hills School District Pre-K Counts Child Care Collaboration Agreement. This is our agreement with Heritage to run one of our Pre-K Counts classrooms. As you all know, we have 5 total Pre-K Counts classrooms. We as the district run 4 of them. Heritage runs 1, and that requires this annual MOU.
Hearing none, we'll take the vote. I'm sorry, I apologize. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Second by Dr. Hildebrand. Apologies, I'm a little rusty again. It's weird being in the room. Okay, so now we'll take the vote. Assuming there's no questions. Okay, thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. That moves us to section 5, special education. Ms. Eckel.
Good evening, everyone. Office of Special Education has 6 tabs for you to consider. We seek approval for the service agreement and special education addendum with the Allegheny Intermediate for the 21-22 school year. What this is allowing us to have that opportunity to utilize all of the services that the AIU has to offer. The special ed department uses the AIU for many related services for our students with special needs, including vision support, deaf and hard of hearing support, therapy, in addition to others. Any questions?
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Ms. Eckel on this item? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 5.2.
We seek approval to renew the annual subscription with Master Teacher to provide self-paced online professional development training for district paraprofessionals at a cost of $2,100 for the 21-22 school year to be taken from the general fund. We've used Master Teacher for quite a while now, and it is a wonderful program for our paraprofessionals to be able to obtain their 20 hours of required professional development. During the 2021 school year, 47 district paraprofessionals utilized Master Teacher and completed a combined total of 434 courses. Questions?
First, is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 5.3.
We seek approval to renew the agreement with Presley Ridge for the 21-22 school year. And what this agreement is stating is that when Presley Ridge and Woodland Hills shares a student, that we commit to working together collaboratively with the family as well as the child. Questions?
Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions from Ms. Sackel on this item? Will there be a separate tuition agreement for Presley Ridge when we have students that go there?
If we have a child that goes to Presley Ridge, there will be an agreement. Presley Ridge is an approved private school, so there will not be, I will not submit a board tab for tuition unless the child goes to the autism program.
Thank you for that explanation. Other questions?
For Presley Ridge? This is just an agreement. We currently have 6 students at Presley Ridge, just to let all of you know that we do utilize Presley Ridge for 6 of our students currently. But the tuition is going, the cost of tuition will vary based upon whether the child attends the APS day school program or the autism program.
Okay.
To be clear, Ms. Sackel, that number is not specified in the agreement itself. It's in the tab for our information, but it's not
just the relevant facts.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. Other questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 5.4.
We seek approval to renew the annual contract with Bayada Pediatrics for the 21-22 school year at a cost of $45 per hour in order to provide nursing services during transport to and from school for one district student attending Western PA School for Blind Children per solicitor approval. This young man has been receiving nursing supports during transport for a few years now, and it's due to the extent of his disability.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion on this? Mr. Vogel, I know you do want to review these agreements with Bayada.
Yeah, there is some very slight modification that needs to be done, and once they are done, then we'll give the formal signature of the district.
Very good. So I won't sign those tonight then. Okay. Any other questions? Call the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 5.5.
We seek approval of the contract with Bayada Pediatrics for the 21-22 school year at a cost of $45 per hour in order to provide nursing services during transport to and from school and during the school day for a student who attends Pathfinders. This young man has had an increase in seizure activity, so the IEP team agreed in April that having a nurse with him throughout the school day will greatly benefit him. Once he has a seizure, he needs immediate attention medically, and the staff at Pathfinders is simply not equipped to provide that level of medical support.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Moved by Ms. Scott. I heard Ms. Seligson first, second by Ms. Seligson. Questions for Ms. Eckel on this item? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 5.6.
We seek approval to award Wesley Family Services the contract to provide comprehensive coordinated early intervention services during the 21-22 school year at a cost of $125,256 to be funded with IDEAB funds. Last month, you all approved the RFP for the CCEIS supports. We had one agency apply, and that was Wesley Family Services, hence the reason why I'm asking for you to award to them. We did award to Wesley Family Services last year as well, and they had two wonderful consultants come in and work collaboratively with district staff. We're really hoping this year, we're excited about it this year because they're going to have access to so many more students than they did last year.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Ms. Eckel on this item?
Can you elaborate? This was our supports to help the whole department, correct? So when we have our meetings, IEP meetings with our parents, they'll act just for like advocacy or just kind of explaining, being the bridge between the staff and the family?
Their primary job is going to be really focusing on students who are exhibiting behaviors that are impeding with their ability to learn. So the two consultants will be working with the staff to help teach them how to conduct FBAs, as well as conducting FBAs on their own, working with the IEP team to develop a strong positive behavioral support plan, and also helping the staff implement that with fidelity. Now, during COVID, we did have the consultants work with the families, and they were able to go into the homes and help them in the homes as well. That piece was provided because we did not have access to all of the students because so many were at home. So this year, they'll be primarily working in the buildings with the staff members.
We did some CE training with them as well. Will that be a separate thing or a part of this package?
They did provide, they provided trainings, and that is part of the contract, that they can continue to provide trainings.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Hawthorne, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Eckel.
Thanks.
That moves us to section 6, people personnel. Ms. Golden.
Good evening. The Office of Pupil Personnel has one board tab for consideration, and that is to approve the acceptance of the agreement between Turtle Creek Valley and the Woodland Hills School District. Turtle Creek Valley is the district's student assistance program provider. They provide us with a liaison who attends SAP meetings in all of our buildings. This liaison works with our social workers and our building social workers and administrators to look at the behaviors, the challenges of the students, and recommends, does screenings, and recommends support services for the students. Also works with the families as well. Are there any questions?
First, is there? Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions from Ms. Gold? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Golden. That moves us to personnel, section 7. Ms. Boyd.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Personnel, 7.1. We seek approval to ratify the, I'm starting over. We seek approval to ratify the facility staffing agreement with Maximum Staffing Solutions beginning June 10th, 2021. This was discussed prior in executive session. If there's a need to further discuss, we would have to go into exec. Is there a need to go into executive session?
Not sure we would need executive session for this item in particular, but first, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. I believe this is the nature that we could discuss it here if need be. Are there any questions on this? Ms. Boyd, would you just give a brief explanation about why this is a ratification as opposed to pre-approval?
Absolutely. We have been using Maxim Service to assist in our ESY and the Opportunity Camp this summer. And this is an update to the agreement we previously had. We use Maxim for nursing services as replacements for substitutes for one-on-ones in nursing.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 7.2.
Thank you. Section A, authorization for leaves. Section B, authorization for retirement resignation. Section C, authorization to hire professional staff. Section D, authorization to hire non-professional staff. Section F, authorization for EDR mentor actions. And Section G, authorization for miscellaneous. And finally, Section H, authorization for furlough recall. I would like to point out a few folks within the personnel tab, if that's allowed.
Let's get the motion first. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Ms. Boyd.
I would like to recognize several new hires that we have, and I believe they're on Zoom. Mr. Bobby Carr, who is an alumni of Woodland Hills. He's recently hired as our newest music teacher, joining the district for the new school year. Mr. Carr, are you on?
I am here.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Carr, for recognizing yourself. Would you like to say a few words? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think I already have.
Boyd, let's get him hired before we let him talk.
I know. Okay. I'm a little anxious.
Let's take the vote first.
I'm a little anxious.
an amendment, please.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Eddie.
so let's get through this first. This is a consent item. Are there any matters in the consent item that need to be pulled for individual consideration?
G, 7.2.
I'm sorry, what is the? No, I
Section
believe
G.
it's G8,
G8, yeah.
right? You'd mentioned that before, Ms. Sullivan, G8?
Yeah.
Okay, so we will consider G8 separately with a separate vote, Ms. Hawthorne. Any other matters in this consent item that need to be pulled for individual consideration? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. This is on the personnel tab as presented with the exception of section G number 8. Take that vote first. Motion carries unanimously. We will need, at this point, we can recognize Mr. Carr and congratulate him on his official hiring in the district. Congratulations, Mr. Carr. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Any others we need to recognize?
No, not within miscellaneous.
Okay, I do want to acknowledge that one of the items we moved on there was to accept the resignation of Dr. Woods from the high school. Thank Dr. Woods for his service and wish him well in his new position as well. And with that, we will move on. I need a separate motion to consider item G8 from the personnel tab. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on that would likely necessitate executive session, but if there are any, we could adjourn to executive session. Okay, hearing none. Ms. Hawthorne, I believe this will be a voice vote, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Mr. Graves, we didn't hear your vote.
I'm sorry, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mrs. Bellingson, abstain. I'm sorry, abstain. Thank you. Ms. Scott? Yes. Ms. Lawson?
Sorry, Ms. Lawson, one more time.
Hello?
There you are.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes, motion carries 7-0 with 1 abstention. So congratulations to Mr. Johnson for joining as well.
Congratulations.
Okay, that moves us to 7.3.
7.3, we seek approval of the agreement between EdLink and the Woodland Hills School District to track and manage employee fulfillment of district requisites, state mandates, and other important compliance items. The annual licensing fee is $4,512.00. As discussed prior, the EdLink is our Act 48 keeper, our teachers that complete courses that want to apply it towards their continuing education. This is the program we use to track those hours. This is not an increase to the agreement prior, it's just updated language in the agreement.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Ms. Boyd on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 7.4.
Thank you. 7.4, we seek approval to hire Ms. Angela Frank as the new athletic director at a salary of $100,000 effective August 9th, 2021.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion on this? Could require executive session. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries by a vote of 6-2.
Ms. Frankie is on the Zoom. Ms. Frankie, if you would like to say a few words, congratulations to you and welcome to Woodland Hills.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I just want to thank the board for and I look forward to all the meetings.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Welcome to the district.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
7.5.
7.5, we seek approval to appoint Ms. Shelley Manns as interim principal at the high school at a per diem rate of $480.77 daily, effective August 9th, 2021, due to the resignation of Dr. Philip Woods.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this? Not necessarily, depends on the nature of the. Okay. Okay, hearing no questions. We'll call the vote. Motion carries by a vote of 6-2.
Ms. Manns is on Zoom. Ms. Manns, congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you to the board for your vote. I appreciate the opportunity and I look forward to getting work.
Thank you, Ms. Manns, for taking it on. Okay. That moves us to technology.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Boyd.
Thank you.
Mr. Muter.
Good evening, everyone. All right, 8.1. I am seeking approval to purchase digital signage equipment for the high school cafeteria and Dixon cafeteria for the amount of $10,971 from the Food Services Fund 50. 5 digital signage units will be placed at each serving line at the high school. And it was unknown to me that there was already provisions made at Dixon. They already have the wall mount and the necessary electric there for it. It was just an oversight. So I'm going to put one over at Dixon. And it's a one-time cost for the hardware, which is under $5,000. There is a licensing fee for the signage software. If we continue to use it in the years 2 and 3, it should be an annual amount of around $3,000 or so dollars. Any questions?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Mr. Muter on this? I'm looking at the sample menu. Mr. Vogel wants to know if they're actually serving grilled tuna in the menu. There's a there's a demo menu. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, could be tasty. Are there any questions for Mr. Muter for actual questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 8.2.
8.2, I'm seeking approval to subscribe to CrowdStrike Falcon Complete. It is a threat and antivirus protection program at a cost of $138,154, and that would be from ESER 3 funding. This program will monitor all of our equipment, every server, every workstation, every laptop. And I'll just read a little excerpt from it. It's a fully managed cybersecurity endpoint protection service that monitors, detects, prevents, and remediates possible breaches and intrusions. It's staffed 24/7, 365 by the CrowdStrike analysts. They have years of experience doing it, and this would be almost like hiring a security expert. They will be able to identify any security problems and correct those. And they also offer up to $100,000 in aid if there happened to be a security breach. And they said as long as they've been in business, they've never had a breach on their watch and they've never had to pay out. And this is through a consortium through the IU13. And it's also through PEPM.
Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this recommendation from Mr. Muter?
Have we got any quotes from anyone else? I didn't get a finalized quote. There was one other company, but they weren't through the consortium. And they were through CoStars, but I don't believe PEPM. We'll see how the first year goes. They have two tiers. There's one where you have the entire package program and you have to monitor it yourself. So if you're not quite sure what you're looking for, it's going to be kind of hard to identify all the different threats. So I'm thinking at least the first year go with the full package where the security experts can identify and educate us on, different procedures. And then I feel comfortable we could go, it'd be half the price moving forward if we maintained it ourselves. You're welcome.
I have a question about how we determine that this would be paid for from ESSER funding. How does it qualify?
Well, it'll serve the students too. It'll protect the student computers. So there's student involvement with that software.
Sure. I was just curious. It's not an insignificant amount of money, so I just want to be really clear if this is something we're going to be paying for moving forward. Why the determination was made to use that funding for now to begin this relationship. It sounds like because we're using more technology too, because of the
Well, and these are the times we're in, and we gotta, protect our district and our students and our staff.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 8.3.
8.3, I'm seeking approval to purchase a one-year subscription of email security assessment and training for our staff from a company called KnowBefore. through the IU9 at a cost of $3,222. This would be from General Fund 10. Once we've used this program in the past, and it's a great way to monitor our staff and to provide education on email phishing and email security. We will send out random phishing emails, and it will report back to us the results of how that phishing email went. If there are a lot of staff that actually clicked on the email, we will be notified, and then we can provide more education for them.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Mr. Muter on this? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 8.4.
8.4, I'm seeking approval to have our tech coaches return early in order to prepare training for our teachers, setting up Google Classroom, staging laptops for distribution, and other duties that they would need to catch up and be prepared for the first day of school.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Mr. Muter on this item? Sure.
So plan is to return in person. Are we going to be classroom technology that could be sort of optional for teachers when they want to use? I guess the follow-up to that is, do we still plan to be a one-to-one district with all the Chromebooks that we have purchased? And the third part of that is the distributions phase of this. What are we doing about the fact that we have, 30% that have not returned from last year?
Right. So I'm going to do a robocall probably in the next week on what we have on record, the students that didn't return them. We'll see how that goes. We do have 1,000 new Chromebooks that we're preparing right now. So hopefully we can fill that gap if they don't return with them. And we'll have to deal with the students one-on-one when they come back, if we don't get any answer from sending out a robocall. We do plan on using one-to-one for all our students here in this coming school year. Not so much maybe for the lower level, but they'll definitely be using them to a certain extent.
Mr. Muter, Mr. Wilson's back behind you, nodding his head a whole lot, so I don't know if he may have things to add if you need
Yes.
additional.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Yes. I
Yeah.
just wanted to say we are going to use
By
Google
all
Classroom too.
Yeah, in terms of instructional framework, I didn't want to put Mr. Muter on the spot in terms of the instructional framework for use of the Chromebook. So we are going to remain as a one-to-one district in terms of technology. We are currently working with the principals to decide what's going to be best in terms of our grade levels and how the Chromebooks that our scholars currently have will be stored and where they'll be stored and how they'll be used. Right now, the general consensus is pre-K to 5. Those Chromebooks will probably remain at homes so that they can be used for flexible instruction days, as well as things like iReady, iExcel, and our online platforms and Google Classroom for homework and for projects at home and project-based learning, so that we'll have Chromebooks within the classrooms in carts that will be used for daytime with any of the projects that our educators are using on those grade levels. Right now, the thought is for grades 6 through 12, those Chromebooks go with you like a textbook. And so our scholars are able to use them in terms of the brand new high school sciences curriculum that we just purchased. They'll be able to do virtual labs both in the building and at home. So in terms of the instructional framework, right now we're working with principals and with teachers as well as with families to figure out what's going to be best. But we are going to remain one-to-one. We are going to remain with Google Classroom as our LMS to use for our learning management. Sorry, back now, but
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Mr. Muter?
And I guess for next month, maybe we can have a presentation or from Mr. Wilson or from you, Mr. Muter, about how that's going to look if a student did not return their device. I mean, obviously, they're going to get them a new one, but what that would look like and maybe more of a day in the life of that,
Sure,
the device.
we can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have some things in the works here for that. We'll just see how the return goes.
And just so that we're clear, we do have, our return rate's about 70% right now.
Right now,
I'm gonna go ahead and put out a plea now that people return the Chromebooks. They can do that here at admin. And
Yes.
return them to Mr. Winslow out front.
Correct.
During the day. So if you can't get to your regular school building, you can get to admin, you can bring the device here as well. So, yeah.
I shouldn't tell myself, but I actually have one of those and I literally didn't know how to return it. So maybe you said you're gonna do a robocall. So it's probably that 30% you're missing. Just, I was
okay.
getting some Schoology messages, but like not clear. So maybe that's,
I see. Okay.
yeah. So maybe, cause we do robocalls, text messages, and then I guess
Emails,
building level
Schoology,
emails. Yeah.
Will do.
All the formats.
Yeah.
Will
All the
do.
formats. Yeah.
I'm gonna step out and reset this screen.
That would be great. Thank you. While Steve is stepped away, we'll just prepare. Are there any other questions for him or should we go ahead and get ready to take the vote? Okay, we'll take the vote then. Ms. Hawthorne, if the result comes up before the scoreboard does. Oh, never mind, it's back. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Muter. That moves us to section 9, safety and security. Mr. Petrogallo. Thank you.
Thank you. We seek permission to accept the independent contract for Pedro Velez as the Safety and Security Coordinator.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard Ms. Seligson first. Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Ms. Seligson. Questions for Ms. Petrogallo on this agreement? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Petrogallo. That moves us to building and grounds, section 11, Mr. Finney.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Finney.
We have 14 items tonight. The first item, 11.1, we seek approval to advertise for the driveway parking lot paving at the high school.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Mr. Finney on this item?
It's going to be separate sections. It'll be a total paving and then other stuff will be just like a layer for to cover it up. It's all laid out in the map.
There was, I was gonna say, there was a map at one point.
Yes.
Mr. Finney, may help us to revisit that potentially committees
Yes.
in a couple of weeks, about which areas are gonna be fully milled and all that stuff.
Yep.
That may be helpful to see again.
All right.
But the takeaway is that the entire lot and driveways will be repaved.
Correct.
It's just a matter of
Repaved.
of what depth in certain areas.
Right. And relined as well. Painted.
Any other questions for Mr. Finney on this one? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 11.2.
11.2, we seek approval of the Home Team Properties LLC proposal totaling at $10,500 for the removal of the high school rifle range lead coated backstop steel plate from Capital Project Fund 39.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion on this? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 11.3.
11.3, we seek approval of Northeast Interior Systems, Inc. proposed change order number 2 totaling at $5,973 from Capital Project 39. This proposal is to furnish and install casework countertops and backsplash in the F207C, F121B per details 2829 on A705, ASI 26, which what this all means, it's the life skill rooms on the second floor and the first floor.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this item? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 11.4.
11.4, we seek approval of Northeast Interior Systems, Inc. proposed change order number 3 totaling at $9,426 from Capital Project 39. This here is to furnish and install 3 new music cabinets in the band room, finished to match the previous installed cabinets. Also includes the removal and relocation, reinstallation of number 42 cabinets from room A104 to location determined by owner and architect.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this change? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 11.5.
11.5, we seek approval of Canfield walk-in refrigerator change order totaling at $1,145 from Capital Project 39. The walk-in refrigerator in the kitchen is for the Woodland Hill School District Senior High School. Asbestos abatement and service, selective demolition for removal or disposal of unforeseen sand debris located under the walk-in refrigerator. This request is to remove and dispose of approximately 176 square feet, 8 feet in depth of sand and debris that was unforeseen and unknown.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. I will make one clarification. I believe that sand is 8 inches deep.
8 inches, I'm sorry.
It's 8 feet. Okay. It's a lot of sand. It's 8 feet.
Yeah, 8 inches.
Very good. Any other questions for Mr. Finn? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 11.6.
11.6, we seek approval of Canfield first floor wardrobe abatement change order totaling at the cost of $3,065 from Capital Project 39. Again, it's unknown and unforeseen act tile and mastic found under the wardrobes in areas phases 5 and 6 classrooms.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Mr. Finney? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 11.7.
11.7, we seek approval of Canfield second floor wardrobe abatement and demolition change order totaling at $6,225 from Capital Project 39. Again, unknown and unforeseen act tile and mastic found under wardrobes in phases 8 and 9 classrooms. We are going to be expecting a credit from Vendrick for the demolition cost, and I do not have that number currently. They're still working with them on that.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries by a vote of 7 to none with one member absent at the time of the vote. 11.8.
11.8, we seek approval of Vendrick Construction, Inc., PCO ASI 33 kitchen structural steel support not to exceed $14,946.67 from the Capital Project 39. Again, this was unforeseen. We needed a steel beam installed in the cafeteria due to the bearing wall demolition.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions for Mr. Finney on this? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries by a vote of 7 to none with one member absent at the time of the vote. 11.9.
11.9, we seek approval of Vendrick Construction, Inc., PCO for quarry tile not to exceed $4,743.13 from Capital Project 39. This is a revision to delete the terrazzo flooring at the snack shop and replace it with quarry tile.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this? Mr. Finney, do you want to talk a little bit about what happened with this?
Yes, there was a little bit of some construction there, and the terrazzo flooring got damaged. So it'd be a lot easier and cheaper to replace it with the quarry tile than try to repair the terrazzo that was currently there.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 11.10.
11.10, we seek approval to purchase a sound system from Hollywood Music and Sound totaling at the cost of $14,600.95 for the soccer field from Fund 39. Hollywood is the lower of the quotes. It meets our needs.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Motion carries unanimously. 11.11.
11.11, we seek approval to renew our building automation contract with Siemens Industry for a total amount of $29,416 from General Fund 10. This will be just a one-year contract. Siemens is what we use to communicate with our HVAC system in all of our buildings, our elementary buildings. Currently now, no longer the high school, no longer Dixon. We use a different company for that, which is Automated Logic.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this item? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 11.12.
11.12, we seek permission to award waste management, trash and recycling removal bid for the district's school buildings at the approximate cost of $4,939.52 per month from General Fund 10.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 11.13.
11.13, we seek approval to purchase electrical components for the high school history wing computer lab for a total cost of $2,508 from Capital Project 39.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 11.14.
11.14, we seek approval to permit the use of Woodland Hills School District's facilities for the stated events.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on the outside uses? Okay, hearing none. Take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Finney.
Thank you.
That moves us to section 13, library. Mr. Harris, will you handle that, please?
Library 13.1, seek approval to ratify the acceptance of a grant for $75,000 from the Jack Buncher Foundation for the renovation of the Swissville Library. Funds will be deposited into the restricted account where other library renovation funds are held.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this item? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries 8-0. With the board's, I just want to acknowledge to the board that I intend to send a thank you note to the Buncher Foundation on behalf of the library for this sizable grant toward the renovations that will happen there. I'm sorry?
Congratulations.
Yes, that's, there's ongoing work, as everyone's aware, on the renovation grant writing efforts, and it is moving slowly, but we're getting there. So hopefully this will continue to get the ball rolling, and a little bit of momentum would be helpful. But that moves us to 13.2.
Library 13.2, the Swissville Library seeks approval to enter into a 5-year consortium agreement with the EI Network for a fiber optic wide area network service.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on this agreement? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 14, school finance. Mr. Gigliotti.
Evening. 14.1, we seek ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after the June 17, 2021 legislative meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on the ratification list? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 14.2.
We seek approval of the July 2021 bill list.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on the bill list? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 14.3.
We seek acceptance of the June 2021 fund reports and student activity reports for informational purposes.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on the fund reports and activity reports? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 14.4.
We seek approval of the investment reports for June 2021.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on the investment reports? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 14.5.
We seek approval of the Conrad Siegel Actuaries to perform the OPEB, which stands for Other Pension Employee Benefits, or which are related to the audit, so we can get a liability calculation. So it's the OPEB actuarial services work related to GASB 75 audit reporting requirements at a cost not to exceed $7,775 for general fund 10. This is something we've been doing for 10 or 15 years now, maybe longer. It's a requirement that we do this, and it's done every 2 years. So they give us a report that'll it's good for 2 years for our reporting purposes, required by the audit.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions from Mr. Gigliotti on this item? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. 14.6.
We seek approval of the 2021-2022 PSBA Interscholastic Athletic Accident Insurance, $9,550, and the K-12 Voluntary Student Accident Insurance through Denon Parkins Associates. The Interscholastic will cover all sports, all athletes participating. The K-12 is a voluntary program that the parents would be responsible for. And if there were any intramural sports that, the Interscholastic doesn't cover intramural sports, but this policy would cover intramural sports if students participated.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So
moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions from Mr. Gigliotti on this item? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 15. Mr. Harris, Superintendent.
15.1, seek permission to accept the updated new teacher induction program.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this item? I know there was a team working on this, but I think Ms. Keeler led that effort, and I appreciate the work that you put into revamping our program to bring in new teachers and onboard them, provide some mentorship, and offer them a great introduction to our district. I'm sure Mr. Carr and the other teachers who will be hired this summer will appreciate that. So thank you very much. Any questions on this? Hearing none, let's take the vote. Also, thank you, Mr. Gigliotti, for your items. I didn't say thank you. So,
Fine. By the way, OPEB stands for Other Post-Employee Benefits.
thank you.
I messed that one up.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Harris. That moves us to old business. Is there any old business? Hearing none. Any new business?
Yes,
Mr. Harris.
I hate to say this, but we're planning on going back to school again. We just got out for summer break. Now we're planning to go back. It's been a quick summer. So as we end it, so shall we begin? Masks. There have been a lot of questions on what we will be doing as a district with masks. And I can tell you, as of right now, we've been always following the CDC guidelines. We've been very cautious. We always have the safety interests of our students and our staff and our families in mind. So as of right now, and this is open for discussion, We have been planning to go back fully with masks just as we ended the school year per the CDC guidelines. I know there are a lot of parents out there who may not want to have their students or children wear masks, but we feel that it's in the best interest of our students as of right now because of the vaccination procedures and the Delta variant and everything else that's out there, that we go back to school, at least to start, with masks. So that's open for discussion on the board.
When you say open for discussion, that's open for discussion among the board at this moment.
At the board at this moment, the people in this room.
Right. Okay.
There's no.
Yeah, by people in this room, we mean the board members.
The board members, yes.
So, okay, members, thoughts on that directive?
I mean, I'm pro-mask. I'm sitting here in a mask. I'm the parent to an elementary school age child who does not yet qualify to receive the vaccine. So when I'm at the grocery store, when I'm indoors in the company of folks whose vaccine status I don't know, I'm continuing to mask for my own child's health and safety. And I appreciate our district being thoughtful about our scholars and our staff, some of whom may be immunocompromised or may have other reasons why either they were vaccinated and they don't have the full immunity, or that they live at home with small children. I think it's really important that we consider all of these folks when we're making these plans. And I appreciate the thoughtfulness that's going into this as a parent and as a board member.
Other thoughts from members?
Mr. Harris, can you elaborate a bit more? Is this going to be forever? What are your thoughts as to how we should move forward?
The CDC guidelines may change before we go back to school, but we have to prepare for what the situation is now. So as we did last school year, we looked at it every 30 days. And that's what we're going to do. We don't know how the Delta variant, and I heard today the Lambda variant that's coming here also will hit us. And we don't want our students or staff to become ill. We lost 2 Woodland Hills staff members last year. One at the beginning, one at the end. We'll look at it, every 30 days. We'll come back. We just got the COVID update about 2 weeks ago from the CDC that was sent out by the Department of Ed, and that's what we're going off of as that recommendation. So we'll look at it every 30 days. We start school, we roll past Labor Day, and hopefully by Halloween, who knows what can happen. Even if students are getting vaccinated now, today, they have to wait that allotted time for the second one. We're already in school. So that's, that time frame right there doesn't make it great for us to not wear masks. And even during that time, when you get vaccinated, you should still wear a mask because there's a time for the antibodies and everything else to kick in. So in that case, we would look at it every 30 days. Hopefully, there are some vaccines available for the students that we serve, but we can't take that lightly because we have lost people. So we'll look at it every 30 days, or when something rolls out from the CDC, we'll reconvene, but we have to err on the side of caution. A lot of folks are not vaccinated. A lot of folks are. We can't tell, we can't ask, they don't have to tell us. So to put students in environments where we are going to have them at least 3 feet apart, but we all know from band, musicals, athletics, people breathe more, it goes out further, whatever happens, happens. We just need to be cautious. And there are times where you can't wear masks, when you're playing an instrument or eating lunch or breakfast, of course, but we will have that 3 feet of distance around our students and staff. We'll look at it every 30 days and reconvene after that. We have board meetings every month. We could discuss it every month, but we're not going to take the health of our students and our staff and our families lightly. So that's the best I can say right now.
Other questions? Can I ask a couple of specific scenarios? So my understanding is that for transportation, masks are required for everybody,
Transportation is different. On the buses, masks are required. That's a federal guideline.
right? Okay, and so what I'm hearing you say right now is we're starting the school year with students and staff in all of our buildings masks.
Yes.
Okay. And you talked about evaluations every 30 days. My understanding is that we are asking parents who opt for the cyber option, our WOA program, to commit to do that for 9 weeks. Is it possible that we can make a masking commitment for those 9 weeks so that families who are opting for that, for whichever reason, that we're working on the same timeline for all of the things, or does that not make sense?
Just like board meetings, sometimes the business of what we do does not align with our board meetings. That's why we have to go back and approve things. We will look at things, like I said, on a monthly basis. The WOA program is not our teachers teaching our curriculum. It's a preset area of instruction that is 9 weeks in duration. That does not align with our 30 days. It's close.
Mhm.
It's darn close. And it also gives parents time to transition back into the building and get ready also. So they'll have enough time. We're not going to say, okay, tomorrow, no mask, come back to school. We'll give time, just like we gave time when we shut down and we went virtual, we give notice. It's fluid. And that's the best I can say right now. So if a parent opts to put their child into the WOA program, which is 9 weeks, you will know at some point during that 9 weeks if you want to change and come back into our buildings. That's the best I can say right now. And I don't know what the comfort level is when students come back, because we haven't had everyone back. We were virtual almost the whole year until March, and then we shut down April, then May, we had graduation. So it's fluid. All I can say is we're going to take precautions. We're not going to take risks. And I can't even guesstimate what's going to happen with the CDC and the Delta variant and when people come back into schools at close spaces. I can't do that. What I can say is we will take precautions, err on the side of caution, and we will communicate. We'll look at it every month. We'll check our website. We're on Instagram now, social media. The principals will be aware of everything that's going on. Your teacher is the best resource to go for information from the district. And we will do what we can in the situation to keep everyone safe. We don't want to lose any more people.
Speaking of the communication piece, how will this be communicated now that we've had this conversation? Once we complete this conversation, how will the result of this be communicated to families starting hopefully tomorrow?
Well, we always go broad. We always go through our social media sites, and then we'll do robocalls, updates. Schools all have Facebook pages. The teachers aren't back yet. Really, we've been communicating with parents have been calling. We're saying we're masked. When everyone's been pretty consistent with that message, we've never wavered from that, saying, well, maybe not, maybe we will. We've always been, we're going to wear masks. So we've been consistent. Some people don't like that message, but we have to protect for the greater good of our students and community.
Yeah, I would encourage you to be more proactive instead of just waiting for people to call and ask. Let's push the message out and let people know where we land on this and what our policy is going to be, because it's time. We're at the point in the year where families need to know those things. So they're going to be asking questions as well. So let's do that. And we also have hopefully the folks from the IU will be involved in helping us to create messaging around that as well.
But I can say we have programs going on right now where staff and students are wearing masks. And I think it was great. It was mentioned in one of our executive session that it's great that the teachers are modeling the behavior of wearing masks that they expect of the students. That's what we have to have. We're adults. We need to show the students, and this was said when we were getting vaccinated, people are still wearing masks to show the students, and the children, this is how you should look and what you should do to be precautious. So teachers, adults, administrators, when we go into the buildings, we need to be masked to let the students know that it's cool to wear a mask. It's not bad to wear a mask, okay? I have my Philadelphia Eagles mask. I'll bring those back out for football season. And we just need to model the right behavior for the children. And Eddie's getting up. He
I would
can't
like
help himself.
to name for anybody at home that's watching and for the board members that we drafted our initial reopening health and safety plan this week. And that will be available for public comment per Pennsylvania Department of Ed requirements on the August 3rd curriculum committee meeting. So for public that want to see that plan and want to comment on it, that'll be available at the August 3rd curriculum committee meeting per guidelines.
And that was reviewed by our medical professional of record. They gave the thumbs up, said it looks great. So we've been pretty, like I said, consistent in what we've been modeling, messaging, and delivering to our families.
Great. If that plan's available prior to the meeting, that we can post it someplace and put it out there, that would be fantastic as well. And I also hope that we will continue to have parent meetings as we did last year throughout, and make available our administrators to answer questions as we get ready to ramp up. Hopefully we could start those in August if we're available to do that, and have a pre-return meeting as we gear up for the school year. Other comments from members? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move to reports. We don't have committee reports this month because, let me pause a second. Thank you for that conversation. Thank you, Mr. Harris, for that. And I do want to acknowledge your comments about the staff members and the individuals that we lost over the last year, because that was a significant loss for many of us, for all of us in the community as well. So that is the forefront of our minds for sure. So now I will move on back to reports. We don't have committee reports this month because we did not have committee meetings in July. We will have committee meetings on the 3rd and 4th of August, as has been referenced a couple of times this evening. We welcome public at those meetings. I will give a brief report regarding the situation at the Sunrise School. Board members received an email updating on the situation with regard to the resolution to retain an architect for that project. There is some pause on that because one of the districts had not yet voted to determine whether there would be support to move forward with the architect. There is a meeting tomorrow night of the Eastern Area Board. I will do my best to attend that. There is a conflict with the meeting here in our district as well. But I will update everyone regardless once I hear the update from that meeting on that, as we still are grappling with the roof situation out at the Sunrise building. The other report that I have is that my term at the IU board has been completed, so I no longer sit on that board and will no longer be reporting directly from them. We will still receive the updates from the IU as we do periodically. Eastern Area Board. And Ms. Seligson, do you have any updates from Forbes Road?
I don't. I actually did not attend that last meeting because I was at another meeting.
Okay.
It was at 9:30. We switched it around. So
okay.
Next month.
Next month we'll have an update. Very good. Thank you. Any other reports from board members? Okay. Hearing none, that moves us to public comment. This is going to be our first go at a hybrid public comment session. So I'm feeling the pain the teachers have felt for a while now. But is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time, either in the room or on the Zoom? Because I was at another meeting. Okay. It was at 9:30. We switched it around. So okay. Next month. I'll have something for you. There is. I can't see the. I believe that's Mr. Ronald Gary. From what I can read. For a while. But is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time, either? Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Mr. Gary, you have 2 minutes. Please give your name, address, and association with the district.
Yes.
And we look forward to your comments. Thank you.
No problem. My name's
Gary.
I'm from Hurley.
I can't see the. I believe that's Mr. Ronald Gary. Mr. Gary, please hold off one moment. Mr. Buter, I'm getting some feedback in the room over the overhead speakers. That is the meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Mr. Gary, you have 2 minutes. Please give your name, address, and association with the district. And We look forward to your comments. Thank you.
No problem. My name's
I can't see the. Ronald Gary. Mr. Gary, please hold off one moment. Mr. Peter, I'm getting some feedback in the room over the overhead speakers. That is the meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Mr. Gary, you have 2 minutes. Please give your name, address, and association with the district. And we look forward to your comments. Thank you.
No problem. My name's
I'm real quick.
I can't see the. Ronald Gary. Mr. Gary, please hold off one moment. Mr. Peter, I'm getting some feedback in the room over the overhead speakers. That is the meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Mr. Gary, you have 2 minutes. Please give your name, address, and association with the district. And we look forward to your comments. Thank you.
No problem. My name's
real quick.
I can't see the. Ronald Gary. Mr. Gary, please hold off one moment. Mr. Peter, I'm getting some feedback in the room over the overhead speakers. That is the meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Mr. Gary, you have 2 minutes. Please give your name, address, and association with the district. And to your comments. Thank you.
No problem. My name's
real quick.
I can't see the. Ronald Gary. Mr. Gary, please hold off one moment. Feedback in the room over the overhead speakers. That is the meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Mr. Gary. Please hold off one moment. Over the overhead speakers. That is the meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Gary. Please hold off one moment. Over the overhead speakers. That is the meeting.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Gary. Please hold off one moment. The overhead speakers.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Gary. A technical issue with the Zoom connection, and I apologize, Mr. Gary. As you've indicated your interest in speaking, would it be possible for you to call in to our conference phone here in the boardroom? That number is 412-731-1300 extension 0189. And if you can call in there, we can take your comment by phone rather than over the Zoom, and I apologize for that.
Zoom piece of it just went.
So
They
we've
can't figure out,
lost,
it's looping and they can't figure out why it's doing what it's doing.
so have we lost the Zoom connection entirely?
I don't know if they turned it off now.
Can we find that out, please?
I just want to.
And if you can call in there, we can take your comment.
Yeah, we're still functioning.
Okay, is it possible for someone to also message this phone number to Mr. Gary?
There we go.
It's probably him.
Okay.
Thank you for
calling the Woodland Hills School District. This is Teresa. How may I help you?
Yeah, hi, Teresa. This is Ron Gary calling.
All right, excellent.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gary. If you could provide your comment, you have 2 minutes to speak. Please give your name once again and your address and affiliation with the district, and you will have 2 minutes to make your comment. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. My name is Ron Gary. I'm from Turtle Creek. My address is 1208 Chestnut Street. I have actually 2 kids in the Woodland Hills School District right now. My question is I just found out that the girls field hockey is being canceled for the next 2 years. I didn't get no notification. My daughter's been playing for the last couple of years. We just got told that there's no girls field hockey. Can we elaborate on this and why there's no girls field hockey? We've got 16 players this year.
Mr. Gary, the board does not entertain questions during public comment, unfortunately. We'd be happy to respond following the meeting. If you'd be so kind as to send me an email, we'll get back to you on that.
Okay, who do I send the email to?
You can send that to me, or the easiest one is the concerns line, concerns@whsd.net. That'll be easiest. The board all receives those emails.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you attending the meeting. Are there others who wish to address the board? Okay, Mr. Harris has pulled the Zoom up on his computer, and we're not seeing any additional hands. We'll just give us another 30 seconds or so. Okay. I believe that concludes public comment. Thank you again, Mr. Garrett, for your patience and for working with us on that.
And for the record, there's no one in the room who wants to make public comment, correct?
Okay. All right, Mr. Harris, that moves us to section 20.
Okay. 20.1, we seek permission to adjourn the July 21, 2021 legislative meeting.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Seligson, second by Ms. Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you all. Appreciate your patience. Have a good evening. We'll see you at committees on the 3rd.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever, something.